Yes, let me play this video. It's just about 30 minutes video from Peter Obi. Then we'll talk about it.
It's attractive, yes. Politics and church. You need to dismantle it. And we're going to turn night vigil into night shift so people can be productive. I go to church, I believe in God.
Yes.
But we cannot have people Monday to Friday be in church morning and night. No. If I go from here now to my house, the only signboard you see is signboard of churches. You go to the east, it's burials. That's not the country. If you go to any other country, you see products.
All right. Barrister, this is an old news, actually. I think it happened like sometimes last week or thereabout. I wanted to make a monologue of it, but I just felt we should actually discuss it together on this show. What do you make of Obi's comments? That was Peter Obi. What do you make of his comments about turning churches? About him. If he were to be the president, he would turn night vigils to night shifts. What is your opinion on that, if you have any?
Well, in the first place,
and
the president...
everything basically he talked on that. He talked about. Did you hear him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Everything about church and that stuff. What is your...
Basically, the president does not have that kind of power to do, like, literally turn night vigil to night shift. But overall, I look at this as...
Do you think...
criticism.
hold on. Sorry to cut you short. Do you think that what he said was actually literal? Giving a fiat, a presidential fiat to churches. Do you think that was his
that's where I'm
intention?
trying to go. I made that statement jokingly, but I was trying to say that the way I view what he said aligns with my view. He is trying to criticize the misuse and abuse of religion, which some of us have come to believe. You see, in Nigeria today, there are more churches than factories, more churches than working places, more churches than... On every street you see churches and churches and churches and churches. Yet, from crime to poverty to anything is increasing. It would appear as if the more churches, the more the crime, the more the suffering of the people. So something must be wrong. If we have this number of churches with this preaching and people are going down and down and down, criminality is increasing, something must be wrong somewhere. Religion is being abused in Nigeria. It has been taken today as a source of business, so to speak. And when you juxtapose it with the suffering that is happening, the economic downturn, you understand why a lot of people, young men, are going into church as a business, as a survival mode. So that kind of church system is not for salvation, it's for business. And it is right to... I do criticize it. I do criticize the practices of our churches. In fact, I'm disillusioned with most of them. If you go to them and see the preaching, if you see their operations, if you see how they go about, you will know that if you have a little knowledge of Christ, you will know that they are worlds apart. What is masquerading as Christianity and what Christ represents in Nigeria, what is masquerading as Christianity and what Christ represents are worlds apart. They are not even close. So if anybody criticizes the church on that basis, I can understand it. I also do criticize. The more churches we have, the more problem we have in Nigeria. That is not to say that churches should be closed down or wound up. The more government becomes effective, the more the incentive to become rich from opening a church, the more the incentive to stop the church being a business for somebody to earn a living, the better for us in Nigeria.
Yeah, honestly, in my own opinion, I agree with everything you said, but I do not agree with uh, the context at which Peter Obi made this statement. Um, yes, you and I. Okay, you have not talked about religion, but if for I don't know if you've come across some of my monologue. I'm a very strong critic of all these our popular men of God. I do monologue on that or whatever. I've done some monologues on that. I criticize the church as well and what is actually going on in the church. So I'm an ardent critic of the bane or the mess or the stench in the church today. However, Peter Obi was reckless of him because what he said it was exaggerative, because nobody goes to all night from Monday to or throughout the week, Monday to Saturday, Sunday to Saturday. Nigerians are hardworking. There's no doubt about that, but they are religious. Now, being religious, there's nothing wrong in really being religious, and there's nothing wrong in prayer. I don't joke with prayer, and if someone chooses to pray from Sunday to Saturday, that is the person. The most important thing is the person come to ask for food from you? Did the person come to beg you? Of course, no. If you go, if go, even go through most of these people that are impoverished, some of them are not. They don't even fellowship. They don't even go to church. Some of them barely go to church. Sort of. So that is not the reason why Nigeria is facing through. Instead of, I expected him to face our leaders. The problem we have is leadership, not people going to church, not people attending all night. What is wrong with attending all night? That is just faith. You just can't just separate people from their faith. Faith matters in the life of everybody, whatever you choose to believe in, and that is just it. If I choose to be a Christian, believe a Christ believing person, that should be between me and God. It shouldn't be anybody's business. So for you to just give a blanket, that was insane. You see what he said now. That this video will come to haunt him, even though I don't even believe that he's going anywhere 2027. Just I have said it earlier, but it will haunt him because Christians overwhelmingly, especially Pentecostals, they overwhelmingly voted for him. This time in 2027, he will not. That criticism, it will attract. It has attracted the wrath of Christians. Trust me. And he was not smart. He didn't behave as a politician, actually, that he's supposed to be. He played a very very rough match there. He played a very rough game there. That is look. I don't see anything wrong in someone imbibing the culture of prayers. If the person chooses to pray all his life, as long as he's praying to God, there are people who are doing this out of probably indoctrination or out of being brainwashed or whatever. That's a different ball game. But there are people who are doing it sincerely, and they have their businesses, they have their jobs, they create time to attend to their jobs, and they create time to attend to God. And those people who are doing all night, for God's sake, how many jobs, how many people, apart from nurses and doctors and security personnel who work at night, for God's sake, we know that Nigeria is not like the Western country that is industrialized, where you have as much number of night shifts, as much number you have much number of night shifts as that of the day shift. It's not like that in Nigeria. Majority of the working of work schedule in Nigeria is based on the day schedule, not night. I've listed people who works at night in Nigeria. So for those people who attend all nights, it is their own free time. And sometimes some people from all night go to go they go to work from all. So what I don't honestly, I do not if you criticize the church for being corrupt, that's a different thing from criticizing the membership. What the man is talking about, the criticism was actually targeted at Christians, not at Christians or praying Christians, not the church. If you focus, what you did was actually focusing on the church, which is the right thing. Now, he didn't focus on the leadership or the church. What he focused on was actually the led, the followers. A sort of that was to me, that was reckless. I didn't expect that to come from him, and that is just you don't attack people's personal faith and personal belief. Like someone will tell me, I always have people. I told people, look, I don't go for vacation. I don't travel for vacation. I travel for something that will yield me money. If you see me traveling or whatever, taking out time to or whatever, I travel. It is because it is something that will fetch me money. And the people said, so how do you enjoy yourself? I said, enjoyment is relative. What you call enjoyment might not be what I call enjoyment. And that is just it. My own enjoyment could be, my own vacation could be just relaxing at home, watching television. That could be my own or whatever enjoyment. And why someone's enjoyment could be clubbing, going to the club, maybe messing around or traveling or whatever. That's not what I consider as enjoyment. What gives me comfort could be just staying indoors in a quiet environment, watch television. And that is just it. So you don't use, I always, and that is the unfortunate, and so unfortunately some men of God use this on the pulpit. They use their personal life or their personal choices or opinions or understanding or philosophies to actually preach to people or talk to people. And that's exactly what Peter Obi just did. If that is not your way of life, if that is not your way of life, why are you criticizing other people who take to a different way of life? That was wrong. Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not of the view, and I do not subscribe to the view that the proliferation of churches is the cause of poverty or underdevelopment.
Yeah, but that is what Peter Obi insinuated on that video.
It is a consequence. It's a consequence of the poverty.
Correct.
Not the cause of it.
Yeah, but that was his insinuation. That is exactly what he insinuated on that video. A sort of as if because our poverty is as a result of giving time to God, creating time to too much. But that is what the way I say. I'm paraphrasing now. Creating too much time for God. There can never be too much time for God. Let me be frank with you. I don't see any time that is too much. The only thing is there should be a time for, just like the Bible says, time and season for everything. A time to be at work and a time to be in the church. A time to do time and season for everything. That is biblical, for God's sake. So you don't criticize me for choosing the time to be in the church, for me to be in the church at the time I'm supposed to be in the church. That is just it.